You're listening to the Book Your Dream Clients podcast, episode 47. I am so excited to share this episode with all of my high overachievers out there, the clients and students and listeners who feel like they need to just have their head down and work all of the time, but they're really afraid and overwhelmed and scared to take that step forward in their business. And I think Karen's really going to help inspire you to take that step forward. And she even has something really special to offer all of our listeners. So I want you to listen really carefully to the whole episode, take notes, feel inspired, and then reach out to Karen so you can feel more empowered to take action in your business.
You're listening to the Book Your Dream Clients podcast, where we believe business can be simple and you can use your intuition to run towards your goal. Self-made business and success coach Lindsay Maloney helps you start and scale your dream coaching business. With her step-by-step intuitive and creative guidance, you'll leave ready to put her tips into action, push your business forward, and work with your dream clients. Lindsay is here to help you get unstuck and structure your brilliance into a coaching business that's sustainable and financially exhilarating. Here's your host, Lindsay Maloney.
Before we get started with this episode, I want to talk to you about my program, Standout Coaching Academy, or SOCA as everyone calls it. It's a 90-day program that's going to help you book your dream clients. And this is perfect for you if you are a coach who is ready to create, launch, or scale your coaching business. If you want to fill your calendar up with dream clients who inspire you, and you want to make an impact in the world with work that you feel called to do, I want you to enroll in SOCA. SOCA is an extremely powerful program that will take your coaching business to the next level. And I have 3 ways that you can join me right now, be a part of the 90-day program, join other like-minded women, network with them, learn the best ways that you can build your coaching business just the way that I've created and scaled mine, so you can stop having those sleepless nights with all the information overload and stop doing everything by yourself. So many coaches are struggling to get their businesses started, and I want that to stop right now. So I'm inviting you to go to standoutcoachingacademy.com, check it out, and enroll. Karen, thank you so much for being a guest on the Book Your Dream Clients podcast. I'm really excited to visit with you. I think my audience will really enjoy listening to your story and about your business that you're building.
Thank you, Lindsay. It's so good to talk with you today.
Yes, we were just talking about the weather. I feel like all of my guests right now when we're recording this, everyone's going through the depths of winter, and we're all really excited for spring. And I think we can kind of relate that to building our business. You know, when we're first starting our coaching businesses, it feels like we're in the winter and we can't quite see March 20th when spring is coming. And we're really looking forward to that day when we can see the light. So that's why I'm really excited to share your story with everyone. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself and about the business that you decided to build so you can help others?
Sure. Well, I happen to be based in New York City. So speaking of weather, yes, it's been our share of ups and downs. And I happen to be a licensed psychotherapist, a licensed clinical social worker, actually, who has also branched out into offering coaching. And these are 2 separate services, yet very parallel in many ways, and really complement my work all around, but indeed are very separate in how they are offered. And what the foundation for me, though, is helping people through things that are unexpected, things that are challenging when we're faced with a transition. Not only do I have my professional background and training, I also have my own personal life experience, as we all do. And I think that's really valuable for us to reflect on, and how we could bring that to our work in a way that speaks to authenticity and just the real quality of who we are and what we have faced, and how we have turned something into a productive and satisfying life or situation. So that is something that I feel very strongly about overall, and just looking at how we can use our own existing resources to rebound from something and to access our natural resilience personally and professionally. I think that's just something that we can all use some support around. It doesn't have to be a major event, anything, any size, any scope, any context, but there are so many ways that we can tap into what we already have to work through it.
Mm-hmm. Very powerful. And so one thing that struck me when I was reading your bio and just by listening to you, I think, okay, Karen's a licensed psychotherapist. She lives in New York City. She's, all these things. And yet she wanted to branch off into this online coaching business world. So why don't you tell me why you decided to come over to the Wild West of online coaching?
Wow. Well, yeah, I also have a background in human resources, which I was introduced to coaching a long time ago in another type of phase that it was in. Of course, coaching is growing, and I think it's really exciting. So for me, it's a natural attraction. I love working with people on a one-to-one basis as well as a group basis, communicating in a way that is enriching and empowering. So it wasn't surprising that I wanted to enrich what I've been doing professionally and pursue coaching and make that another available track and how it can reach people. I think that there's something about looking at where we are and then considering the action that can be taken to move someone forward. And of course, considering where we've been, but really being more future oriented, more action oriented, and pulling from this concept of we are already powerful. We are already resilient and have what we need. We have the tools. It's just having someone help uncover that dusty toolbox that we lost somewhere along the way and reintroducing how we can put them to use. So it was a very natural thing for me to want to offer, and I find it extremely rewarding.
Yeah, and that's why I love working with coaches because they have this strong desire to help others. And you had you have a physical business where you work with people one-on-one in real life context, and now you decided I need to do this online as well and help more people. And I love coaches' hearts are so big because they just want to help people. And so many people get really tripped up with, okay, they decided to take action because they know they want to help people. And then they're like, but help people do what? They get really, it gets really fuzzy and they struggle with, trying to decide how they're going to help people. And they disregard the journeys that they have traveled. I talk about their journeys all the time. And so many people think they need to have something really exciting to go back and share stories from, when that's just simply not the case. Like you said, like we all have our journey. We all have our story. Everyone does. We didn't just like poof out of thin air appear on this planet. We all have something to share. And I think that's really important to share with everyone how you decided that your journey is important and that, you can use it to help others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one thing I remind people in coaching, but also those who are wishing to pursue a career in coaching, is just take that step. Just take action. Don't overanalyze. Don't think that you have to have everything in order. Go with the flow of what is pulling you in this direction and experiment. Be open to seeing what you learn in that first step. That first step will tell you something. We are informed with everything that we do if we just pay attention. And there are, of course, tools that a coach can help someone with to pay attention to these things, whether it's journaling, whether it is noting our word choices and tracking that, and how can we replace things that we say with other types of self-talk. What is the opposite of what we perceive as the obstacles? If that obstacle wasn't there, what would it look like for you to take action? Great, now we see that. Let's sketch that out further and step into it and act as if. There's so many powerful things that can happen when we just allow ourselves to take one small action step at a time.
Yeah, taking action is taking a step forward. It's, a physical thing that we do. And it's really uncomfortable for a lot of coaches to move forward because they're probably lacking a little bit of confidence, and it's scary to move forward because it's really comfortable to sit still and be busy and keep your head down and work on your business in quotations. But moving forward, taking action is very, because it can sometimes take people, months or years to do, but we're kind of holding off on the people who need us. So if somebody's like, I'm so close to taking action, but I just need something to help me take that first step, how can you help them take that first little baby step?
Mm-hmm. Well, in coaching, so much of what we talk about initially is around our values, what we care most about, what's most important to us. And then in order to get closer to those values and more in alignment, what is it that we need for that to happen? So needs, such an important piece of this conversation. So I think for letting those needs come forward, inviting them in, not judging them, not worrying about what others would think, and just taking note that these needs are telling us something about ourselves. And that's a clue. And once we have that information and we can see it more clearly, we can address the need and give the need what it wants. And once it feels like it's been heard, it seems to step aside and get out of the way. So I have a certain type of training and approach that addresses all of these parts of us, seeing, of course, the person as a full individual with layers and different pieces that are operating together. And needs are one of these parts. And there might be a need to feel overwhelmed right now. That might have a purpose. So let's let the overwhelming feeling come forward and not judge it as being a bad thing and not try to suppress it, but invite it in. I always say, I use the metaphor of, let's invite everyone to the party. Everyone's welcome. Have a seat, right? Let's hear from you. There's no deciding, oh no, we don't want so-and-so here at this party. They're not going to be very fun. You know what? They have something to offer. So that's how I see these pieces of everyone. All of these layers that seem to present as obstacles are actually needs that once they're heard, they really do get out of the way.
That's so interesting. Can we talk a little bit about the word overwhelm? I hear it a lot. As people are growing and starting, overwhelm is such a hot word, and people are scared to admit that they feel overwhelmed. And I love that you say, no, let's invite it because it's here for a reason. Can we dig deeper into that feeling and what people can do? Because we all experience it.
Absolutely. This is a culture of overwhelming ourselves. We're sort of at a loss if we're not, perhaps, in certain contexts. And many people that we might encounter in our coaching practice, but also ourselves as coaches, might fall in that category of what we refer to as the high achievers. Those who are always thinking they should be accomplishing something and hitting that mark and having something to show for it. And that's a wonderful thing, right? We do want to work hard. We do want to reap the benefits of that. It's very satisfying. At the same time, on the other side of that, what might that be camouflaging? What might that be overshadowing the part of us that just wants to be and would benefit from just being and not actually measuring our success and not competing or comparing and just being in our essence? What really is that? So I like to kind of peel these layers back to get to the original core of who is this person at this stage of their life and what matters to them now. I happen to work with a lot of people that are considered mid-career when it comes to the workplace and professional coaching that I focus on with what I call professional rediscovery. So usually in what we might say, mid to the latter part of their career, and they've often reached their point of success and they're like, I've done it. Here I am. I'm at the top. Now what? It's something's missing. So we have to then peel it back. What matters to you now? Because you're a different type of individual with different pieces that have grown when compared to when you perhaps first entered this professional world 20 years ago, for instance. So there are these original pieces that need to come through, but also the new layers that have to be understood. So there's a lot of exploring that goes on. And then, of course, some very exciting discoveries.
I love that. So I suppose, when you take, the layer of that's showing, overwhelm and feeling overwhelmed because, let's use that let's use this as an example. Somebody who's been in the coaching business for a few years, they, are hitting their goals and they hit the success that they, have been dreaming about forever. And then they want to keep going, but they're like, okay, now what? Now what do I do? I'm feeling a whole different feeling of overwhelm. This is like Overwhelm 2.0. What do I do? And there, you start peeling the layers off. What do you find that, is different between the 2.0 overwhelm from the 1.0 overwhelm?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it really throws people off, first of all. It's almost being overwhelmed with this new sense of being stuck. We, of course, hear over and over again about people feeling stuck.
Yes.
That's kind of like this universal message. And I think when we're experiencing that, and in this example that you're sharing, Lindsay, about this new type of overwhelmed, because here I've achieved it, I've made it, but now I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do next. That might be a sign that we're ready for something a bit different, that there is an opportunity here to reassess and take a pause and take inventory as to what am I already stocked up on to the point where I just don't need it anymore, and where are the deficiencies, and let's kind of allow some of this to open up and trust that there is something new to follow. But if we are too clouded in it and we don't take a step back, we might not see it. So I think a coach can be very helpful in clearing away that debris, and just being open to our clients as we listen to them, telling us about what this new feeling of stuck is like, and acknowledging that this could be a good thing because it's telling us something. You might be ready for something a bit different.
I love that analogy. I have that discussion with a lot of clients when they, their head is down, they're working, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, something's off, and they feel like overwhelm means they're off a little bit, but that doesn't necessarily mean that. And you face that as that's okay. And I like to compare it to growing pains. Growing pains are good. And it means that you're growing, and that's great. You can also talk about it like a multiple level house that never ends, right? You went up a staircase, now there's a landing, and you can either turn and go up the next level, or you can either stay or go back down. So yeah, we want to be equipped with carrying ourselves up another level. We have to be fit enough to do that. So how do we do that? Do we have to reach back into more layers and uncover things? Probably. Things that we never probably thought about that have nothing to do with business. Those high achievers, those overachievers. There's a lot of things that we probably need to kind of clean up and acknowledge that, and get rid of things, like do some spring cleaning with your past. That's really important. And big thing we don't think we're going to have to even touch when we decide to go into this. Like, am I really going to have to talk about this? But it's going to come up sometime in your business.
Yeah. I think that's where the transformation happens, is when we do allow ourselves to look deeper, and having someone on that journey with you can make it a lot more comfortable. But it can seem like some work, right? I love the analogy with the house, and one other way of looking at that is, of course, moving upward, right, up the stairs, and it's endless of how far we can take this elevation of ourselves, and what we're passionate about. And also at the same time, this discovery of different rooms. So I've used that with people. I think it resonates, in which, right now you are in this house that's endless, but you've been living in just a few rooms. What if we discovered there's a whole new wing that you haven't even unlocked the door to yet? What could possibly be there for you? That, I think, is a whole other way of opening up our minds and expanding our view of what is possible or what we just don't even know yet. Very exciting to see that and observe when someone can envision unlocking new doors.
I love that so much because sometimes you just need somebody to help you, like take a tour of your own house. You didn't even realize
Yeah.
these rooms even existed. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Karen, I feel like you would be so helpful for people to show them like you have this room too. Like you should probably go check it out and see this layer of yourself. I think that people just want somebody to bounce things off. Like, I just need somebody to guide me, literally take me through, show me what I'm capable of, because I don't even know how to tap into this myself. I didn't even know I had all these layers. Help me. How do I do this? How can I find my own way? And that's important, is recognizing your own way. You don't have to look at somebody else's. Like, your way is so powerful. And by acknowledging it, that helps you create a ripple effect where you can help others do the same.
It's so true. It's so true. And once we trust that, it really does attract the types of people that can benefit the most. And that, as you say, ripple effect, that will then in turn attract others. And it's a natural process of reaching one another and having an impact. So I think that everyone has something that can contribute to a growing practice.
I agree. And it's okay to ask for help when you feel called to peel off something that might feel a little, overwhelming, if we're going to use that word. So how can people learn more? How can they discover this process with you? They want to do this, but they don't want to do it on their own. How can they learn more about you?
Well, they are welcome to first check out my website and learn more about me at KarenCarlucci.com and reach out to me via my contact page and let me know that they have some questions. I offer free consultations to everyone who reaches out to me. I really thoroughly and genuinely enjoy talking with people to help them figure out what might be appropriate for them. And I'm happy to point them in the direction that might suit them best. And if they're not ready to pursue coaching with me at that time, I really want to make sure that they feel good about what they are ready to do and that they can always circle back to me with more questions. So I really do like to be a resource and make myself available in that way. So it's very, easy to reach me via my contact page, via email, and then we can always arrange a time to chat over the phone. And if someone who happens to be listening to this particular podcast and they think they do indeed wish to work with me after we chat, I would love to offer a discounted package to those individuals.
That is so generous of you. I greatly appreciate that. I think this is something my audience would really resonate with, because we're all about digging into ourselves and making ourselves, therefore our business, the best possible. We want to be helping others. Like, we work with human beings, and we need to be working at high vibrational states in order to make big transformations with ourselves and others. So this is like putting the cherry on top of our work. So thank you, Karen. This is very generous of you.
Thank you, Lindsay. I'm happy to do it.
Awesome, Karen. I really liked visiting with you about this. I feel like we could probably talk lots and lots about all of this. This is very interesting to me. So I greatly appreciate you taking the time to spend with me and our audience.
Thank you, Lindsay. It was a pleasure. I look forward to speaking again.
Want 10 ways for you to start booking your dream clients? I created this workbook for you because I wanted to share my best tips on how I book mine. You're not going to believe how easy these are, and I know you'll be able to take my tips and put them into action ASAP so you can start working with your dream clients. To grab the workbook for free, all you have to do is go to lindsaymaloney.com/podcast. Hey coaches, are you a member of the Book Your Dream Clients community yet? Because you should be. Just go to dreamclientcommunity.com to request free access. We do fun things like website audits, challenges, and we even have a book club. Join the free Dream Client community now, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much for listening to the Book Your Dream Clients podcast. If you want to find out more information how you can work with me, just head on over to my website, lindsaymaloney.com. You will be able to see how you can work with me privately or in a group setting. I'm all about helping you start and scale your coaching business, so I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on iTunes and leave a rating and review. And if you want bonus points, take a screenshot of a review and tag me on your Instagram story. I'd love to see it and share it with my audience. And plus, you don't want to miss another episode.